used or repossessed car, Automart na yan.
Anong unang yun naiisip kapag sinabing European ang kotse? Luxury? Prestige? Mahal? Well, it doesn't have to be that way because Volkswagen is proof of that. Now, ang kasama natin ngayon ay ang Volkswagen Lamando at mukha siyang mahal, di ba? Pero in actuality, if you can buy one of these second-hand, marami kayong makukuha at sulit na sulit ang pera ninyo pag i-consider niyo itong Lamando. Bakit? Panoorin niyo itong video na to. Pero teka lang, binibenta pang Lamando, di ba? Well, oo, at big discounts. In fact, you can actually go to your nearest Volkswagen dealership and ask for one of these for a big discount. Pero usapang segunda mano muna tayo, no? So anong ma-expect mo dito sa Lamando? So at the front, in some ways, it's typical Volkswagen, straight lines, and somewhat on the conservative side. Pero may pagka-adventurous din yung design nito. Kasi kung makikita nyo, upswept yung mga ilaw, mas rakish tong hood na to, mas bilog, at lalo na tong bright red na kulay na to, mas lumalabas yung pagka-sporting niya na itsura, kumbaga, no? Tapos meron ka pang mga black highlights dito. Kung familiar kayo sa mga foreign market na Volkswagen, kind of reminds me of the GTI, kumbaga. Moving on to the side, you have these stylish wheels, two-tone, diamond cut, and this is in some ways a coupe sedan, no? Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, mababa yung bubong, rakish yung windshield, tapos pagdating nyo dito sa likod, mas swept back than your typical sedan. And then when you get to the back, yung trunk lid niya medyo mas patulis sa likod. So very sleek, very aerodynamic looking actually. And nandyan lahat ng styling element ng ma-expect mo from a Volkswagen, but at the same time, it's in a package na mas dynamic tignan. And while we're here sa exterior, meron kang half panoramic glass roof at pwede mo rin buksan yan. And isa sa mga gusto kong quirks ng Volkswagen ay makikita din sa likod. So kung papansin nyo dito sa likod, paano ba buksan yung trunk neto? Walang bukasan, walang susian, dito ba? May pipindutin ka ba somewhere? Tignan nyo lang yung logo ng Volkswagen. Ang gagawin nyo lang, pindutin to at ayan na yung trunk. So speaking of the trunk, very square yung design niya. So sinusulit niya yung available space, kumbaga, in this car's body. It's not the biggest in its class. May mga mas malalaki pa. But for what it is, pwede na. You can fit a fair bit of things in there, mga ganon. And Volkswagen did their best na medyo square yung cargo area. So bakit hindi ganon ka super laki yung trunk? Well, it's because of the suspension design. So it's on what's called a multi-link suspension. Medyo complicated siya, but it gives you a very sporty handling ride in the first place. But ang compromise dyan, medyo nakakakain siya ng trunk space. And medyo kinakain niya din yung space sa likod. Explain ko mamaya. So dito naman tayo sa loob ng Lamando at anuhin natin yung tunog ng pintuan muna. Very European. So, kumbaga, ina-expect mo naman sa Volkswagen, diba? Or any European car, diba? So anyway, yung design ng dashboard. If you've been in a Volkswagen before, it should look familiar. Walang sobrang magarbong design feature, no? Walang yung mga sharp angle, ganyan-ganyan yung mga nauuso ngayon. The design, hindi siya maluluma, very simple, yet somehow elegant, kumbaga. And because this is a higher priced Volkswagen, soft touch materials. Napakalambot ng dashboard actually, no? There are some hard plastic. This is billed as a semi-sports sedan. So, medyo mataas yung window line mo. Mataas ang yung upuan ko ngayon. These seats, leather sila, and the driver side is power adjust. The passenger side is manual adjust. So, yung maganda din dito sa driver seat na to, may lumbar support adjuster din siya. So, kung medyo maarte ka sa lumbar support, kung gusto mo mas firm yung dito mo, pwede mo rin i-adjust. At para hindi rin mangalay yung mga braso mo, adjustable din siya. Up, down, forward, and back. What about what's in front of me? So, full instrument digital cluster siya. From your speedometer, your tachometer, yung multi-information display, lahat naka-house yan sa isang screen. Another thing dito sa instrument cluster, no, pwede mo rin palitan yung naka-display sa harap mo. So, gusto ko for example, speed, yung naka-display, distance, pati nga navigation, pwede mo ilabas dyan. At yung buong itsura ng screen, pwede mo rin palitan. So, that gives you that personal touch, kumbaga, if you consider one of these cars. Ang iba pang highlights dito, may cruise control siya and meron pa siyang voice command. So to go about that, you know, you scroll up and down dito, may mga buttons dito and whatnot. May napansin lang ako na medyo kakaiba. Yung mga nanggaling sa Japanese cars, yung mga kung susi nandito, kung push to start nandito. Sa mga Volkswagen nandito sa baba. So yan ang kailangan nyo maalala pag may Volkswagen kayo. And another thing, pag European cars in general, hindi ko nila lahat, but in general, yung light switch nyo, dial dito sa left hand side. Yan ang mga kailangan nyo maalala. So, automatic climate control siya and it has a comprehensive infotainment system. May Apple CarPlay siya and well, may feature siya na hindi mo magagamit dito. It's called Baidu Car Life. You won't really use it here. May navigation and when you go to the main menu, makikita mo yung status ng kotse. Like yung refueling status and start, mga ganyan. Pwede mo rin palitan yung display na yan. So active info. Yan, dito mo ma-adjust yung display sa instrument cluster. Sa energy consumers, driving data, yung pinakita ko kanina, and even what's called a Think Blue Trainer. So, eco-coaching system to. It doesn't really do anything for the car, pero rene-remind ka na mag-drive ng mas matipid. Kumbaga. Signature yan ng Volkswagen. If you go to the foreign models, ganyan din makikita mo. Kumbaga, marami kang personalization options thanks to this car's comprehensive infotainment system. And from here, kahit malaki yung glass niya sa labas, medyo ano lang ako na yung opening niya hindi super laki. Maganda sana kung hanggang dito. Pero then again, makakain yung headroom sa likod. As it is nga, medyo bulky lang yung sunroof. So, headroom isn't the best, at least in my driving position. Kasi ako, I personally prefer mataas yung driving position. Medyo mabibitin lang ng konti. All in all, you know, you sit pretty low. My seat's pretty high up already, but you feel like you sit pretty low. The window line is high, ganyan, and you get these carbon fiber effect trims dito sa dashboard. So you get that feeling here in something somewhat sporty. Pati itong 3-spoke steering wheel, medyo sporty din yung dating. Space dito sa harap, okay naman. It's actually a wide car. So hindi ka mamomroblema sa wiggle room dito sa harap, kumbaga. And the dash, the center stack is thin enough. Couple of convenience features. You can slide the armrest back and forth. May card holder ka pa nga dito. USB ports naman, wala kami dito makikita sa harap. So, nasan siya dito? Well, kailangan mo buksan to. May isang USB port dito, tsaka auxiliary port. Pero, may dalawang USB port ka sa likod para yung mga pasahero mo makaka-charge din. Dito naman sa likod, napaka-komportable na maupuan na to. Touch on the firm side, pero sa mga long distance trips, ay napakasulit niya kasi sinusuportahan yung buong likod mo, pati yung banda dito sa baba, maganda yung support niya, maganda yung comfort niya. Mga features dito sa likod, na-mention ko na, may dalawang USB port dito, plus may lalagyan ka pa na extra. And speaking of extra lalagyan, malalaki yung pasokan ng bote dito and magkabila yan. Plus, may mga map pockets ka pa. Ang maganda dito, yung armrest niya, may dalawang cup holder din. So, hindi ka pwedeng mauhaw dito sa likod ng Lamando. So, as for space, na-mention ko nga earlier na yung suspension system medyo kumakain ng space, ano? Kung height ko yung nasa harap mo, okay lang. Pero, kung mas matangkad yung nagda-drive, medyo makikita mo yung difference. So, there's a lot less leg room, but at least there's still decent foot room. And yung sunroof, kita nyo naman yung ulo ko medyo napuputol na dito. But again, it's meant to be a somewhat sporty, medyo pampagets na sedan. When it comes to the general feel at least, hindi ka naman yung sobrang claustrophobic na ipit ka sa loob. But it's just something to take note of if you're considering one of these cars. And another thing, medyo mataas yung center tunnel dito. So fitting 3 people, baka it might not be the best option, but regardless, it's more of a driver-focused car, so all of the spaces at the front. So dito naman tayo sa makina ng Lamando, and it's a turbo engine. It's a 1.4-liter TSI with 150 horsepower and 280 Newton-meters of torque. And yung numbers na yan, baka sabihin nyo na, uy, parang it's not as powerful as some of its rivals. The Lamando is the type of car you have to try out first because it's not necessarily defined by the spec sheet numbers. Kailangan mo ma-experience muna how it delivers that power, but we'll get to that later on. So it shifts with a dual clutch transmission to make those shifts much faster. So, feeling mo tuloy-tuloy lang yung surge ng power niya. You have to try it, you have to take it around the corners to really get the feel of this car. And this engine complements the whole styling pretty well. At kung napapansin nyo din, hydraulic din yung hood stand. Hindi mo kailangan angatin na ganon. So dito naman tayo sa driving impressions ng Lamando. And I've had it for a few days and brought it up and down winding roads, sa city traffic, sa maluwag na traffic, at kung ano-ano pang conditions pa. And a couple of things stood out para sa akin. So if you want to enjoy driving, maganda yung suspension niya. So yes, you get less space sa likod, but ang trade-off niyan, napakakapit na handling, napakagandang handling. Drive up and down winding roads of Tanay. Ang ganda ng kapit and hindi ka mawawalan ng confidence if you're taking corners. Very sporty yung ride. I wouldn't say matagtag siya. Kung ina-expect mo from a German car na malambot yung ride, this is not that kind of German car. But that doesn't mean hindi siya komportable. The firmness is there. Mararamdaman mo ng konti yung mga bumps. But on roads like these, it's totally fine. Hindi ka mayayanig, hindi sasakit likod mo. And speaking of, yung seat bolsters neto, they hold you in place kapag medyo napapa-enjoy ka sa winding road na trip. In cruising conditions naman, tahimik siya. And that's the benefit of having that small engine with a turbo. And speaking of, when it comes to performance, it feels like it doesn't have just 150 horsepower and 280 Newton. It feels like it has more, and that's thanks to the dual clutch transmission. Napakabilis ng response. It just shifts like that. So, bang! Then, next gear, halos hindi mo mararamdaman. Of course, some people will say, sana it had a manual, mga ganyan. But, part cruiser siya, part sporty sedan. So, kung ikaw yung taong, you just wanna go out for a drive and stuff like that, it is fun to drive, it is dynamic, and kung tapos ka na sa mode na yon, komportable siya. Okay, with a hint of firmness, but otherwise, comfortable car to drive. Again, feels like it has more than what it has on paper. And the turbo, when it spools, banda mid-range siya, so akala mo wala. Then biglang bang, dun siya sisipa. There is a pro and a con to that. So if you keep the revs pretty high when you're high-performance driving, that's good. It's responsive, it's there. But in city driving, it's a little bit difficult to drive smoothly kasi dual clutch siya, so it in some ways it kind of acts like a manual. So you get that timpla feeling. And then once it's there, biglang sisipa yung turbo, whoosh, mag-whoosh siyang ganyan, and then suddenly yung kotse sa harap biglang titigil. So mapapapreno kang ganun. So you'll have to adjust your driving style a little bit with a turbo and the dual clutch transmission, no? But once you get to the hang of it, it's like driving a normal car. It's like driving a normal automatic. Magiging second nature mo na yun. As a weekend car, yes, why not get one of these? But if you have to do family duties on it, okay, so the space at the back isn't great, but you could still fit kids at the back easily. May isofix mounts pa yan. Kung may baby ka, may maliit kang anak, kayang-kaya dyan sa likod. Of course, kung matangkad yung mga adults na kasama mo, dun lang medyo magkaka-conflict. Pero otherwise, it's a semi-practical family sedan that you can drive in a sporty way. And what more can you ask for kung yun yung hanap mo? And the best part is, if you're looking for that bit of exclusivity, konti lang ang mga Lamando sa kalye. And if you drive one of these, unique ka. And that, for me, is what sets it apart from other cars in its segment. So yung segment niya, kumbaga, it's a little higher than your Corollas, your Civic and stuff like that, but below your Camrys and Accords. So it sits somewhere in between, and kung young executive ka, bagay din sa'yo to. Kasi you also have that air of exclusivity to go along with it. Mahal ng gasolina ngayon eh. Kamusta fuel economy? So, nga, I've had this car for a couple of days. Kung ano-anong driving conditions ko binato sa kotseng to. From traffic, to cruising, to uphill, to downhill, lahat na. Inano ko na, sinaba ko na sa kotseng to. At an average speed of 16 kilometers per hour, I'm doing 8.5 kilometers per liter. It may not be the best measurement, But considering everything this car has gone through in over 160 kilometers, it's pretty good. And ito pa, tinitignan ko yung fuel gauge ngayon. 1 bar pa lang yung nabawas. So, you can have something sporty and something tipid at the same time, and something also semi-practical. All for less than 1 million pesos if you're looking in the second-hand market. Ayos, di ba? So since na-mention ko na rin yung presyo, how much are second-hand Lamandos in the used car market? Well, they're a touch under 1 million pesos. So from what we've been seeing, you can get one for as low as 800,000 or as high as 950,000. And that represents pretty good value when you consider the size of the car, its performance credentials, its fuel efficiency, and its features. For me, this is a car you need to enjoy and a car you need to experience talaga. At dun mo siya mas ma-appreciate. It won't, for some people, it won't wow you kagad. Pero yung mga little details, that's typical with European cars now. It's the little details that make you appreciate it more. And again, its uniqueness is what will set it apart from all the other usual options you have in its class and its price range. So kung naghahanap ka ng second-hand na kotse, whether it's a Volkswagen or a Honda or a Toyota or even a Mitsubishi, isa lang ang sagot dyan, i-Automart na yan. And this has been Anton Andres for Automart.ph. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook for more videos like this and other used car advice. Thank you for watching.